First off, I want to say thank you to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. If it wasn't for him, this would not be possible. Low Nose Boxing. Hit the like button, share the video, leave a comment, subscribe. Terrence Crawford just made an interview. He was just on the interview, and he said that Errol Spence Jr. is not going to be a Hall of Fame fighter. I don't understand why a fighter who his biggest win, which was hands down the most anticipated fight in 2023, right? Why would you say that that man is not a Hall of Fame type of fighter? Whether Errol Spence Jr. is or not, that's yet to be determined. But Errol Spence Jr. was his biggest fight. That win, that performance over Errol Spence has captivated the imagination of so many fans. So many people were calling for the Canelo Alvarez fight based on the performance. A lot of people thought that was going to be a 50-50 fight. A lot of people felt that way. Terrence Crawford destroyed him and separated himself and put himself on a whole nother stratosphere, right? But the problem is this. Terrence Crawford's resume is not a Hall of Fame type of resume. His accolades are, but not his resume. He had some solid guys. He got decent guys. If anything, I feel his resume is a little bit underrated. But if he's out there saying that Errol Spence Jr. is not a Hall of Fame worthy fighter, what Terrence Crawford is doing is hurting his own brand. What he's doing is giving his naysayers ammunition to criticize his resume even more. Me personally, I believe Errol Spence Jr. will become a Hall of Famer one day, and I believe he gets in through the skin of his teeth. I don't consider Errol Spence Jr. a great fighter. I don't consider him a legend. But then again, his career is not over. He could turn it around for all we know. He could turn it around. Just like Roberto Duran turned it around when they thought he was done. You know? Just like Evander Holyfield turned his career around when he was done. So it's not over for Errol Spence yet. But what I will say is that Terrence Crawford and a lot of fighters today have a bad habit of talking down about the credibility of their opponents. Devin Haney did the same thing going into the Ryan Garcia fight, labeling Ryan Garcia a C-level fighter. How are you going to label a fighter who the media and the people on YouTube consider as your peer, as the quote-unquote the new Four Kings or the new Fantastic Five? And you're going to call that man a C-level fighter? But then it looks bad when he took that beat down from that quote-unquote C-level fighter, right? They need to take a page out of Floyd Mayweather's book. Floyd Mayweather used to big his opponents up going into the fight. He would say, oh, he's a tremendous fighter. He's a heck of a fighter. He's a great fighter. Like, Floyd Mayweather bigs his opponents up because when he wins, people going to say he was a hell of a fighter. Gervonta Davis just recently did that with Lamont Roach. People thought he was capping, but Lamont Roach did show that he is on the highest level, right? Even though Gervonta did not get that win, but he did say that Lamont Roach was an A-level fighter. He did not go in there and call him a C-level fighter because it would have looked bad. It would have looked worse had he said that. That's why people are joking on Devin Haney now. I know this video is about Terrence Crawford, but the video is really about the importance of bigging up your opponent. Because if you win, it's going to look good, especially if that fighter turns out to have a very good career. Floyd Mayweather only did that one time as far as slandering his opponent's credibility, and that was going into the Arturo Gatti fight when he called Arturo Gatti a C-level fighter. But even after that, Floyd Mayweather backtracked and said that he was just doing that to sell the fight. At the end of the day, he gave Arturo Gatti all the credit in the world. Fighters today need to learn how to do that. You know, because at the end of the day, you are as good as who your enemies are. And I'm not saying they're enemies, but I'm using it in the street term. If you a guy in the street and you building up a reputation, right, and you got, you have quote unquote ops, your ops are not going to be people that's not on your level. you know, as far as credibility, right? And I'm not glorifying the streets. I'm just using an example. So why would King Kong, for instance, have his rival be a regular dog, a regular animal? No, his rival is Godzilla, right? So why Terrence Crawford is gonna label his nemesis at the time, Errol Spence, not a Hall of Fame worthy fighter, but then he gets upset when people criticize his resume? Fighters gotta do better than that, man. Start giving credit to your best adversaries, because when you win, or if you lose, at the end of the day, you lost to a high-level fighter. I just had to get that off my chest. With that being said, hit the like button, share the video, leave a comment, subscribe. Low Nose Boxing. I'm out.